Does anybody in this room play an accordion? Oh my gosh, for real? You are an audience member who is here by coincidence and plays the accordion. Did you know I was gonna ask that question?
No idea.
Because you shot up so quickly, like, pick me, pick me. What's your name, ma'am?
Jerry.
Jerry, will you be so kind as to step forward, hon?
Absolutely.
You don't have to play well, you just have to play.
This is the plaintiff Carlo Cooley. He says he purchased an accordion from the defendant who told him it was in good working order and that it made beautiful music. Once he got it home, he had an expert take a look at it, and he told him some of the wires were corroded, and if he wanted to hook it up to an amp to make it play, he'd have to get it repaired. The defendant lied to him. He wants his money back and is suing for the $500 paid him. This is the defendant, Digna Duton. She says she was selling her grandpa's accordion and she told the plaintiff there was a wire missing on it, but it still worked. Her father played the instrument for him so he could hear it. It worked. He bought it and took it home. And now he's changed his mind. So should she give him a refund? She thinks not. And she thinks the judge will agree. She's accused of letting the music die.
All right, all parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Okay. So you love the accordion, but you don't play the accordion.
No.
No. And so
Unfortunately,
why were you buying an accordion?
It's because I want my son to learn, because I was brought up in Italy where everybody used to play around me, and I love the sound of the accordion.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing that, if everything works, it's a beautiful thing to hear about.
How old's your son?
My son is 32.
32.
Yeah.
Did your son want to start playing?
Yeah, he started
because
when
he
he
kind
was...
of makes his own decisions.
Yeah,
but...
yes. Anybody can start at any age.
No, did he want to start?
Yes, he loves it.
Okay.
Plus, I have a grandson too. He's 2 years old, but
Okay. So how did you find the defendant's advertisement? It was on what?
Okay, it's I go on Facebook. Facebook, they have a marketplace.
Okay.
And
how many accordions were for sale?
well, there's a lot there.
There are a lot. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm trying to look whatever it's more not too expensive or whatever, and whatever fits my case.
Whose accordion was this?
It was my grandfather's.
Okay. And did he give it to you or leave it behind?
He left it behind, basically.
Okay. So you go to her house.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, let's get there. So you decide you're going to... Do you negotiate on the phone or no?
No, we negotiated
in person. So let's get to her house and what happens? Do you play it to see if it...
Well, I asked for her to play it, but the thing was she came up with the excuse saying that it's missing cable from the speaker to the amplifier, and she cannot make me hear this the other instrument.
She cannot what?
Make me listen to the other instrument, the speaker and amplifier, because it only make me hear the accordion. Accordion is this accordion box is accordion that it plays together with the instrument, like a speaker and amplifier. It's like an orchestra.
Where's the accordion? Is it inside that closed box?
Okay, this is accordion.
Okay, can I see it? Can you open it up?
Okay. It's got a dress, like you see. Okay, this is it. And then this is the instrument, the speaker and amplifier.
Does anybody in this room play an accordion?
I do.
Oh my gosh, for real? You are an audience member who is here by coincidence and plays the accordion. Did you know I was going to ask that question?
No idea.
Because you shot up so quickly, like, pick me, pick me. What's your name, ma'am?
Jerry.
Jerry, will you be so kind as to step forward, hon?
Absolutely.
You don't have to play well, you just have to play.
And my friends all play accordion.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about your friends who you didn't take with you to buy it in a minute. But right now, I just want to hear Jerry. Come on in.
Just so I've never heard of an accordion having an amplifier. That's the one thing that calls my attention.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
I'm sure there is, but
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them.
Okay, so the amplifier's not going to work anyway. So I just want to see what happens when you press buttons on that accordion.
Okay.
Go ahead. It's a little heavy.
Heavy they are. Let's see.
What are the odds?
I know, that's what I was saying. I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, no. I don't want, I'm not
What
touching
are the odds?
All right, this is a little bit short for me, long for me, actually.
You got to tight a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to adjust it. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking.
That's all right, don't shake. I'm just going to have you play just a little bit and then.
Let's see. You want to hear a polka?
Yes, I want to hear polka. Who doesn't?
Let's see.
That was really just a throwaway question. Does anybody? I expected everyone
I
to
would
go,
never-
don't be silly.
And I told the guys, I saw them come in, I said, is that an accordion? I saw it. Yeah, it's not working.
At all?
At all.
So there's no
Should
sound
be making
coming
a
out?
sound coming out of here. This side is working, the left is not. This side should be working. There's nothing working on this side. Not one button.
Oh, that was
Sorry.
When did you start playing the accordion?
My family's from Argentina and they're German.
Oh my goodness.
Two sides.
You've said too much. Go ahead. All right. Has anybody played that in a while, or what's the deal there?
Well, my dad, he kind of plays, but, you know, he's not expert at it. So my grandfather, he left it behind, and then we kept it there for, like, you know, a while, and we told him that.
Well, when he came over to see it, did anybody play it for him?
Yeah,
or-
my dad played for him. Played for
Okay.
him.
Is your dad under the impression that the left side was working, or
Yeah, everything was working. I don't know why it's not working right now.
was the left
You
side
saw
ever
him
working, or
play.
you don't even know enough to test that?
He
I
saw
only
him
knew
play.
when the
You were
guy,
right there.
technician.
Hold on.
Don't talk.
No, don't
Only
talk to
Don't
her.
talk to each other.
Okay, talk to me.
thank you.
I'll take
Sorry.
care of that. I'll take
Sorry.
care of the order in my courtroom. Go ahead.
If you allow me to say, I only know the time
Wait,
when the
were you
technician
talking to
came
me
over.
when you said if you allow me to say it?
I mean, when the technician came over the house, I tried to be polite. I'm not a
Okay,
bad
here,
guy.
stop. When you were there, did the father play it?
Yes,
And-
but I asked to play with the speaker and amplifier because this type of accordion.
Right, we're going to get into that in a second.
Okay.
Do you know whether the left side was playing at all?
I don't know because he.
'Cause you
played
don't
it.
know about
Yeah,
that.
exactly. I don't know if he
All right,
was.
is your father
faking.
here?
No, he's not here.
Okay. And when you asked about the amplifiers, what did she say?
Oh, she said that it needed a cable. It needed
Wait,
a
but
cable
okay,
missing.
but she didn't hand you that, did
No,
she?
no, no.
Okay, so
She's-
don't lift that up because
Yeah.
I'm going chronologically. So she told you there was just a missing cable.
Yes.
Did you tell him that?
I said a wire.
A wire.
Wire.
So
Yeah.
where did you get that idea?
What do you mean? So I basically told him I do not play the accordion. I do not know nothing about the accordion. But when I tested out the speaker, it was working. It was like making sound, but like it sounded like it needed a wire. And I told him that I was like, there's a wire missing
Yeah, but how did you come to that conclusion? That's so specific of you to say.
because
The only reason this doesn't work is because there's a wire missing. You get that wire and it'll work.
no, but we did try it. It was like coming out noises, and it obviously needed another wire because to fix it, it has to like have another wire. I'm guessing, I don't know, but
Okay.
But I did tell him like I don't know nothing about the accordion. It's not like I played him. It's not like I said, oh, everything
Okay.
was good.
So
and
you
all
tell
that.
well, you kind of do when you say all it needs is a wire.
I mean,
the
I
wire's
was
a
guessing
problem.
it. That's what I
So
needed.
you then, if you have all these friends who play the accordion, sir, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
If you have all these friends who play the accordion, why didn't you bring any of them with you to look at it?
Because you got to pay them first of all. They
Oh,
technician.
they're not that close to you then. They're
No,
not.
well, I mean, you got to pay for the day because they have a business to run and everything else. I
Okay.
got 2 business cards from them.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is this: the accordion, maybe the accordion can work a little bit, but the speakers and the amplifier.
So did you go out and buy the wire?
Yes, the technician brought the wire with
Okay.
this wire with
Do
them.
you have
He
a-
tried.
Do you have a statement from the technician?
No, I have a video the technician tried with the wire and everything else.
Okay.
This is the sound that makes the accordion.
What were the prices generally when you were looking on Facebook Marketplace for an accordion?
Well, it depends on what you get. There's so many of them. And I know for a fact they could go around from $200 to $1,000, depends on what you buy. You know, I mean, in this specific case, this accordion, if everything worked, yeah, it's worth it, whatever, you know, I paid for. But the thing is, you know, she failed to tell me that, you know, the thing is this. When I text her for the accordion for sale, this and that, I say, I give you $500 cash, you will take it. She said, no, I have somebody else who wants to buy for $550. I say, okay, let her see it, let her buy it. You know, I mean, I don't care, you know, whatever at this point. So a couple of days later, she calls me back. She texts me back, actually. I have the texting and everything else. And she's saying, look, the accordion is still available. The guy came, he didn't like it, and he didn't buy it. So if you want, I'll give you for $500. I said, okay, I come and get it then. I come and get it. And then when I almost got there, she started telling me, well, I got to tell you this. I was missing a cable. And
had she ever told you that everything was working perfectly?
Yes, she told me in the beginning.
Where did she say that? Because you've handed me a bunch of texts.
Yeah, in the beginning. You know,
okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to hand this back to you because I just read through them all. I see you asking, hi, is this accordion working good?
Yes.
Would you take $500 for it?
Yes.
I am trying to teach my son. And all she answers is $550, lowest I'll go. Does she ever tell you that it's perfectly working?
Yes.
Okay. That will be trying to make a deal with you and someone else, so please, thank you. That's you.
Yeah, I'm saying
and then she says that will be do you have it in your phone? Because stuff is cut out.
You got my phone, I think.
Yeah, let's get it in your phone. While he's looking for that, you tell me were you present?
I was on the phone the whole time.
Phone the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah,
like
that's so rude. What are you on the phone the whole time while you're trying to make a sale for $500? That's ridiculous. That's not a normal thing for someone to do. So he's going to buttress everything you say because he was on the phone the whole time. All right, let me hear from you. What is he to you?
Okay, so when he came,
what's the relationship between you?
He's my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. What happens? What is the discussion that you say with him? That it's a wire because that seems like what it is. You say.
Yeah, because like I said, I do not know nothing about the accordion. I was just selling it. So, and I told him that, I specifically told him that I was like, okay, this was my grandfather's. I do not play, like I said, I do not use it.
Okay, there's a text that says, it works good. It's in good condition.
Yeah,
you can come and see it yourself if you'd like. Plus, it comes with 2 speakers. This is a valid price. This accordion goes for more if you haven't done your research.
Yeah. So like when I was playing it, well, like, you know, not actually playing it, like, you know, just trying it out, it sounded good.
Were the speakers working?
No, I told him there's a wire
but
missing.
you never told him that until he set out for your house, you know?
Exactly. When he came to my house, I told him everything.
I know. That by then he had driven all the way over there. Why didn't you tell him, yeah, the speakers don't work, I don't know what's wrong with them? Because then you wouldn't get a sale, right, if you said it that way. All right, so he gets there, and what do you tell him?
Okay, he gets there, and then my dad starts playing the accordion. And then we asked him to try it. He's like, no, I already see it's good, and this and that. And me and my dad don't really know, like, the inside. Like, he said he took it to the technician or whatever. We don't know the inside.
The technician, all the technician did was get a wire and connect it, and it still, it still didn't work.
So from there, the accordion was playing good.
You know, you represent that these speakers work, that they just need a wire. Mm-hmm. Typically speaking, when you buy a used item, it's an as-is sale. That means you better know what you're doing before you do it and not have regrets because, you know, the time to inspect everything is before you buy it, not after. But I have a concern in this case, which is this. Instead of you saying, hey, I don't know anything and this is as is, so, you know.
She never says as is.
Excuse you. That's what it is by default. Okay? So she doesn't have to say it. That's what it is. That's what it starts off as. That's according to the law. But in your case, you make a representation. And the representation you make is those speakers they're just missing a wire. They're missing a wire. And then your guy says what to you?
My guy said the problem is with the speaker and the amplifier, the problem. But they don't work.
So at a minimum,
it's all over 50 years old. That's what the problem is.
Well, yeah, I mean, that part, you know, but, you know, we knew that. But so the problem is when you said that it all works, that's, you know, it must at least all work. And It didn't. You said, oh, it's just a wire. That's why that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just a wire. Well, it turned out not to be just a wire.
Yeah, because I really don't know nothing about it.
Well, then don't talk.
That's right. I should
That's
know
what
about
you
the wire.
you don't talk either. I don't need you to mansplain my comments. So then don't talk, because when you say all it needs is a wire, it is like you're making a warranty on that. It is like you're saying,
okay.
oh yeah, it's all good, it all works, everything's great, and you just need a wire, is the only thing that takes it out of the as-is law. Your comments, because you lull a person into thinking that, oh, I just need a wire and all that'll work. Well, it turns out it's junk. It doesn't work. The speakers don't work. And that was part of the sale. And as we know from our friend Jerry, is it? Yes. Where's Jerry? I can't see Jerry. There she is. And as we know from our friend Jerry, the left side doesn't work, and a wire didn't fix that.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, so while my dad was playing it, it was working. So he comes back a week later.
Well, no, I'm sorry, hold on. When your dad played it, the speakers were never working.
No, I'm talking about the accordion.
Correct, but the speakers were never working, and this was a package deal. The speakers were never working when your dad, and that is the rub that you then say, oh, it just needs a wire. Go ahead.
I mean, because, all right, so.
It's all right. It's not like you did anything wrong.
No,
I'm
I know, I
just
understand.
explaining to you why this isn't your average run-of-the-mill as-is case.
So when he came, right, the accordion is working. Like, you just got to click some buttons. So as she said, the side of it is not working because I think it's some speaker. Like I told you, I do not know nothing about it.
If you think you can get the side to work,
no, I don't know. That's the thing.
Okay.
I do not know.
Here you're doing exactly what you did at the sale. You're talking out of your...
I said I think.
What's right? You're just talking when you have no clue. You're like, oh, there's a button and then that'll work, but you have no idea.
Because that's how my dad was playing it. Like, I'm just telling you what I seen. You get me? Like
yeah.
What I seen from what my dad was doing. But he's not here right now because,
Okay. And why isn't he here?
Because he has to work.
That would have been really good. We could have had him play. Oh, no, he doesn't really play, does he?
Nah, but he knows like
I know. I'd much rather hear Jerry. All right. All right, guys. You know, with both sides agreeing that the statement was made that the speakers work well, you just need a new wire. And with evidence that he showed me on video of the technician, you know, that he bought. Did you buy the new wire?
Yes, I bought it.
Do you have the receipt for it?
No, the receipt I didn't bring it.
Okay. With the evidence that a wire didn't fix it, and actually he ends up texting you these long texts saying, can you please explain what wire you're talking about? Because I presumed you meant the cable, and I don't think you meant anything more than that anyway, right? Like you kind of meant the thing that connects it.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, because then he thought for a second maybe she knows about some internal wire, but of course none of that was good. All right, I think that's what takes it out of your typical as-is case, and I'm going to order you to return the $500 verdict for the plaintiff.
Okay.
So, Judge Melian finds for the plaintiff in this case, Ms. Duton, you're going to get the accordion back, and you're going to give him the $500 back. So what are you going to do with it now?
Do with what?
The accordion.
I don't know.
It's coming back to you.
I don't know. What do you want to do with it?
I don't know. It
I don't
was
know either.
yours.
I know,
Now,
but like I said,
you
I
got to
don't
give
know.
him his money back. You get the accordion back. Okay?
Okay.
So what are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
Well, you think about it, okay? Good luck to you. You may leave. And that's it. Mr. Cooley? Cooley. I'm intrigued to know why you wanted this to teach your son.
It's in my blood. You know, we grew up with accordion players all around the house and in Italy. And I think still over here, I'm living in this country for 40 years. I still believe that it's one of the most beautiful sound that makes in the music today. And I love to continue with my grandson one day if everything okay and if I'm still alive.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, good luck to you. I hope you find another one, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
I got to tell you, Doug, the defendant's own text messages sunk her when she said that the accordion worked just fine. All it was missing was a missing cord. Well, there you go. It needed more than that, and there was a warranty in effect, and that's why the defendant lost. That'll do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Kelly Williams. He says he brought his car to the defendant, a so-called mechanic, last June because his air conditioning wasn't working and it was very hot outside. A few days later, the defendant told him to pick it up because it was fixed, but by the time he got the car home, it broke again. Back and forth he went with this guy. He couldn't fix things right, and he wants a full refund of the $1,700.50 because the defendant simply didn't know what he was doing. This is the defendant, Keith Vardaman. He says he's been in the car business for 36 years. Thank you very much. He replaced the plaintiff's air compressor on his AC unit, and everything worked fine. 4 weeks later, the guy calls him complaining about the AC not working again, and he took a look at it for him. Unfortunately, the car's 20 years old. He had a new leak in a different part of the car, and the guy didn't want to spend the money to fix it again. Then he turns around and sues him today? Ha! Some people. He's accused of not chilling out a customer.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says he took his car to the defendant to fix the AC. Guess what? He got it home. AC didn't work again. The defendant says he fixed it, and it's not his fault. The plaintiff's car is almost 20 years old and keeps having issues. It's the case of it's getting hot in here.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Williams, you took your car to Custom Import Auto Work, represented here by the owner. You're Mr. Vardaman?
Yes.
And the problem that you had with your car was that the AC wasn't working.
Wasn't working.
All right, and what kind of car is this?
It's a 2004 Lexus AS 300.
All right, and when you took it in, what did he tell you he thought was the problem?
The compressor.
And how can you tell, did he tell you that right away, or did he call you and tell you later?
He called me and told me later.
Okay, so how did you, are you the one who actually worked on the car or no?
Yes.
All right, so how did you realize the compressor was a problem?
No pressure differential.
Explain what you're saying.
The high side and low side pressures were equal.
Okay, and they're supposed to be?
High side should be higher and the low side lower.
Okay, so you replaced the compressor?
Compressor, receiver dryer, flush the system.
And charged him how much?
$1,500.
Okay, so you take the car, and how soon when you pick up the car, I presume it's cooling?
When we got, it was cooling. It was semi-cooling. When me and my wife got in it, she noticed that it wasn't cooling. And
Enough?
Enough. And I told her, well, give it a few minutes and let's see what it's going to do. So we proceeded to the house, and before we got to the house, it stopped cooling.
Did you contact them?
Yes.
Now, you say in your answer to the complaint that he contacted you 4 weeks later. He says he contacted you immediately upon arriving at the house. Which one of you is telling me the truth on that? What evidence do you have that he contacted you 4 weeks later? Do you have the paperwork from all the times that he's
No.
So if you don't keep paperwork, how am I supposed to trust that you remember that one client called you in particular 4 weeks later?
Well, I had the paperwork at the office. I didn't think to bring it.
You're getting sued. What do you keep paperwork and records for if it's not to prove the stuff that happened when you're getting sued? Now, according to you, you called right away. Do you have your phone records that would show that you called right away?
Yes.
May I have them?
If I haven't deleted them.
Did you text?
No, I haven't text. I called him.
Okay, so go ahead.
And that was maybe...
Well, let's establish something. Did you bring anything to court? Because your hands are behind your back and I don't see any paperwork anywhere.
All I brought was my statement.
Your own statement. Well, you're here to tell me that. I don't need anything on a paper. What I want to know is when did he bring the car to you for repairs?
June 19th, I believe.
Okay, and when did he pick it up?
2 or 3 weeks later.
It took you 2 or 3 weeks to fix the AC?
It took that much time for me to get to it.
Okay, what day did he pick it up?
I don't recall.
Do you have a specific day that you say he brought it back or alerted you to the problem, or you have no clue?
2 or 3 days later.
I thought you had said in your answer to the complaint that it was 4 weeks later.
I must have made a mistake.
Okay,
about
now
when he...
let me, you don't need to find the records after all now. So when you bring it back to him, what does he tell you it is this time?
When I take it back to him the second time, he told me it was the hose was leaking.
Okay, so here's what my question is. If a hose a hose is leaking?
Yes. First, it was the compressor went out. The second time I took it to him, he said it was a leak in a hose.
Okay, is that accurate?
Yes, low
Okay,
pressure hose.
so where is this hose that we're talking about?
From the compressor to the hard line that goes inside the car.
Now, wouldn't that have been something you would have looked at beforehand when you were putting in the new
Yes.
compressor? So what happened? Why is it leaking? Is that something you had replaced with the compressor?
No,
So when
Probably
you
the pressure.
tested after putting the compressor, why didn't you find this leak?
because it hadn't started leaking yet. It probably had to build pressure up to cause the leak to start.
Okay, so you tell him it's going to be another $150, and he does pay you the money.
Right, just
And
for
then
the
you
hose.
replace the hose.
Right.
But according to you, that still didn't fix the problem.
No, ma'am.
And then and then what happens? How soon do you call him after that?
Right after I got home, again, he fixed the problem. The third time, I called him and told him
How
that
long? When you call him the third time, that's how long after you've brought the car home?
maybe 2 weeks later, because I wasn't driving it. I let it, when I got home, it was cooling. And then I let it sit there because I have multiple vehicles to drive. And it was on Labor Day, I got in it and no air. So
At
I
all?
called him on
When you
Labor.
say no air, what does that mean? It's not
It
cooling.
wasn't cooling.
All right.
And I called him on Labor Day, and he told me he was at home on Labor Day. He wasn't at his shop. He told me to bring it, and I told him I'll bring it as soon as I can.
And then what happened?
And he looked at it.
Where? At his home or in the
When
shop?
I took it to him, when I had time to take it to him, I took it
At
to
the
him.
shop?
At the shop.
Okay.
And he looked over it. It was like maybe a week later, he looked at it and
Wait,
said,
when you say a week later, that means what? You brought it to the shop a week later, or he had
No.
the car for a week?
he had it for a week.
Okay.
He looked it over, called me and said it was a leak in the dashboard.
Okay, so how did you discover the leak in the dashboard?
With a leak detector, a sniffer. Detects-
Paint the picture for me of physically what you do in order to find that out.
Charge the system, take a leak detector, and run it around the evaporator case, the box inside the car. All the hoses.
How do you run it around? Like, is it a wand? And
It's got a probe.
okay, and then what happens?
It'll set an alarm whenever it detects freon.
Why didn't you do that from the beginning?
I did do that from the beginning, but we did not reseal the whole evaporator case. In other words, we didn't take the dash out of the car and replace all those O-rings inside the car. We replaced all the O-rings under the hood, but not inside the car. With the new compressor, you've got more pressure. The O-rings are the same age as the system. That's probably where his leak came.
But if spending $1,500 on a 20-year-old car is going to cost more and more and more, why don't you just tell them from the beginning, this is a stupid repair, don't do it? It's not 20, it's 16. Let me give it, it's in the flower of its youth. Let me not make it older than it needs to be. I mean, you're saying, I read in your answer to the complaint, you seem to have this feeling that, it's he doesn't understand this is an old car and this is the kind of stuff that happens. You fix one thing and something else comes up. Well, I mean, no, if I pay you $1,700 to fix something, I'm going to hope that it's going to last me a little bit. And so if it's so horrible that it's not worth fixing, then why fix it? Why undertake to fix it at all? But because according to him, you never fixed it. He paid you a bunch of money and nothing ever. When a customer comes to you, they want the AC to work, and then you predict what's wrong with it, and then you say the AC is going to work after I fix it. I understand he has a new compressor. I understand what he does have these new things, but they're useless because it turns out that is not what the problem was. So, I seldom see that side of things in cases like this because I understand what you're saying, that there could be something else wrong and how can you, but this isn't a guy saying, hey, I wanted my car to work and now my car doesn't work. This is a guy with a super specific problem. The AC's not cooling, pays you the money to fix it, and then it turns out that we now have a leak, and according to you, we didn't have the leak before. So if fixing it was gonna break everything else, what was the point?
There's several different components that could leak in the AC system. It's not just the compressor and the receiver dryer. You've got O-ring seals at every joint under the hood and inside the evaporator case inside the car. There's no way to predict which.
Did you ever take
seals
the
will
car
seal.
to another mechanic?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, let me see.
Here go the, that go one for the,
I'm looking for something very specific. That's
here it
the
go, right there, right here.
that's the
it, right
new
there.
mechanic you took it to.
Right, that's
Yeah.
it. And this is some more about the leak.
Is that from the same new mechanic?
Same guy.
Okay. This gentleman is suggesting that you need a new compressor again?
He looked at it, and it wasn't, when he cut it on, it wasn't turning. When you cut it on, it's supposed to kick in, and it wasn't kicking in. So I'm telling him, I know a little something about it, and I told him, put some Freon in it. Once you put Freon on it, it'll kick in, and he agreed to it. He knew, he just wasn't thinking.
I'm sorry, I don't, but then why is he giving you a quote for a new compressor if all it needed was Freon? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I understand
why
that.
is that a quote for a new compressor in there?
The question,
You didn't spend this big amount with all of that, this quote here, right?
no, ma'am, that's
Right,
a different
okay.
guy.
No, it's the same people.
Yeah, I'm talking about different guy with, not him.
Yes, I understand that, but you didn't pay that different guy the $2,651 quote.
No, not yet.
What did you pay him? Anything or
I
no?
haven't got it fixed yet.
Okay.
And that's just an estimate on, and it's sudden to change.
Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No, ma'am.
Really? Nobody wants to talk to me about a gun and a knife?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Tell me all about it.
When I went and got my vehicle, when I went and picked up my vehicle, my brother-in-law took me to pick up my vehicle, and I asked them, they was sitting outside waiting on me to come get my vehicle. And I walked up to them to get my keys, and when I walked up to him to get my keys, I said, man, you know you did me wrong. And he said, how's that? Because you didn't fix my air conditioning. You supposed to have been taking the dashboard out, and I got it right here when he said it's gonna take 5 hours to take my dashboard out, which he didn't do. And he said, let's go in and look at it. And when we went in to look at it, he said, I didn't like the way you was talking to me on the phone. I said, all I did was told you I was gonna take you to court if you don't fix my vehicle. Well, I don't care how much money you give me, I ain't gonna fix it. And then my brother-in-law said, let's go. So we left, and another guy was talking, he was talking noise when we was going
Wait,
out.
what was the noise he was talking?
He was talking about, yeah, that's an old vehicle. You need to get another vehicle. That's what happened when you got an old vehicle, mess with AC. And I said, who is this knucklehead here talking trash? And we kept on walking. And he said, well, if you want to come on back up in here, we can settle this up in here. I said, no, you come on outside. I ain't going up in there. And he closed the door down. When he
Wait, what does close the door down mean?
the garage door. He let the garage door.
And is he on the inside or the outside?
He was on the inside.
Okay.
When he let the door down. And now my brother-in-law, we was going to his vehicle, I was going to my vehicle. And next thing I know, the door go back up. When the door go back up, I look around, and here he come charging at me.
He who? That same guy?
The same guy, the
Knucklehead?
young guy, one of his
Right,
workers.
okay, go ahead.
And so...
Charging at you means what?
Charging at me like he's doing ballyhung.
Exactly what caused you to conclude that? Was he walking? Was he running?
No,
Did he
he's
have his
running.
fists up?
He was running. And
Running towards you?
towards me.
Okay.
Because he already told me to come back in, and he let the door up.
Okay.
And when I seen him, of course, I put my blade out on him because I was defending
Wait,
him.
where was your blade?
It was right here on my side.
So you pulled out a blade that had how many inches?
It was a little bitty one.
Okay, little bitty. Nobody carries one a little
Well,
bitty.
it was enough to get him off of me.
Okay,
It was-
enough to get him off of you, not enough to get you arrested. Okay, so you
Right.
open it up, and what happens?
And
when you say off of you, he never made contact
he
with you,
never
right?
did make contact because he got in between us.
He who?
The mechanic
defendant?
here, the defendant.
Okay.
And he pulled out his gun and told me to get off his
Wait.
premises.
What do you mean he got in between you?
He stopped us from coming into
Okay,
contact.
figuratively. So where was he physically when he stopped?
Right in front.
He came in front, and then where was his gun?
Right here. He pulled it out just like that and showed it to me.
Okay.
And told me to get off his premises.
So you brought a knife to a gunfight.
That's what everybody say.
All right. So now is there something you want to tell me?
I was in the office when I heard all this goings on, and so I took my pistol and walked out there.
Okay.
I mean, there's no sense in violence.
Yeah, I'll say. So what happened? What was it that went on? Why was your employee with a customer?
I have no idea. I fired him.
Well, oh, you fired him?
Yes.
On that day?
Yes.
Over this?
Yes.
That's a good result. See, this is kind of tricky because I understand your position 100%. You know, this is a real specific problem and it didn't get fixed. But on the other hand, you have a new compressor that you don't need a new compressor for. So I'm kind of, you know, and you're telling me that the guy says, oh yeah, all you have to do is put free on it. That the guy agreed with you.
Yes, Judge.
Go ahead.
Not necessarily saying I need one or not. It might be burn up.
Oh, well, now you're making stuff up. I asked you that before. Do you have any proof of what the compressor cost?
I'm sure I've got a record at my shop.
Okay. Can you tell me? Do you know or not really? Like what the cost is versus the profit?
Probably 30% markup.
And then labor in addition to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. This is what we call a little rough justice, because on the one hand, he has some new, oh, by the way, and then apparently at some point you cracked the leather in his chair.
I had the seat recovered.
And you felt that it was probably,
It's just old dry rotted.
Dry rotted just from age, but he ends up repairing that at his cost, correct?
Somewhat. I think it was what my cost, because my air conditioner ain't fixed with my money I gave him.
Okay, correct. But he didn't. He had it fixed, and you didn't pay anything to get it fixed, right?
You want to know?
What is that document?
This is the 5 hours and how much they was going to take the dashboard out.
Let me see that. Is that from them?
From him, which he didn't do. 5 hours to take the dashboard out. And if he would have took the dashboard out, we wouldn't be here, Honor.
Were you supposed to have taken the dashboard out?
I took out the lower glove box, the right side of the dash above the glove compartment.
Why wouldn't you have found the leak then?
Because I didn't open the evaporator case. I changed
I'm going to order you to return the entire amount. 1,000. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to deduct from that what the cost of the AC compressor is. The only evidence I have on that is actually not that far from what you have verbally suggested, because you brought me no evidence. So what I'm going to do is I'm ordering the return of $1,200.50 to the plaintiff. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff prevails, but only gets $1,200, not the $1,700 he was seeking. Mr. Vardaman, you put the judge in a tough position. You didn't have anything to support your case.
I didn't think I need anything. I thought she had all the documents from him.
You didn't bring anything, nothing to help you out.
I didn't think
I gather you don't go to court very often, do you?
No.
Well, you learned the hard way. I'm sorry.
I suppose
if you
so.
had some paperwork, some dates and things like that on it, might have helped you.
Might have.
Okay, that's the way it goes. Thank you very much. You get involved in a situation where you need your gun very often?
No.
That's good. Good for you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams. Well, maybe you can get your car fixed now. What do you think?
Praying I do.
You're going to keep the car?
Yeah, of course. I'm keep it, get it fixed.
Okay. All right. Good brand, good car.
Good brand, good car.
Needs there. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Okay. Harvey?
Doug, I got to tell you, this is an interesting case because the judge talked about the defendant needing to bring paperwork. It's true he's being sued, so then you can ask the question, well, why does he need paperwork? He needs paperwork to prove his defense. And that's the point. You need to prove what you're alleging in court. Evidence is king, even in small claims court, and even when you're the one being sued.